Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for Tuesday. We just have a 5-gamer tonight, starting at 7:30, two 7:30 games, and then three 10 o'clock games. So it's going to be a late night if you live on the East Coast like myself. But let's get into it. As always, if you enjoy the videos, appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out Prize Picks, Twitter, the website, all that stuff is in the description. Last night, didn't go great. We probably wish we didn't get the Miami news because that got me off of Derek White and Kevin Porter Jr. and put me on to Duncan Robinson, who was not very appealing, or did not play very well. He was appealing, just didn't produce. But on to tonight, still been a pretty productive last week. Looking at the point guard plays today, we have Steph Curry at $11,400. He's going up against Phoenix, who have been on an absolute roll. You have two of the hottest teams in the NBA going up against each other. This one will be very fun to watch. I don't know how good it will be from a DFS perspective because both defenses are pretty solid. So this is probably the least appealing game, or maybe the Detroit-Portland, depending on if Norman Powell is in or not. The Lakers-Sacramento game is super appealing, the Memphis-Toronto game is super appealing, and then the Knicks-Brooklyn game is appealing, but it's probably behind these two games. So I'm not that interested in this Golden State-Phoenix game unless we get some major injury news on both sides, or at least one side. You have James Harden at 11-3. He probably looks fine, but I'm not going to be forcing myself to pay 11-3 for James Harden. Westbrook is 10-8. LeBron has the Q tag once again. Hopefully LeBron just plays through that. If LeBron happens to miss, then you're going to be looking to get to Westbrook, looking to get to Anthony Davis in a very good spot against the Kings. Ja Morant is out, so that's going to continue to open up value on the Grizzlies side. They're priced a lot better than they were last slate, but last slate they also blew out the Kings by 30 to 40 points. So the starters didn't play as much as you would expect. In the 7K range and 8K range, Fox looks fine. He's $8,400. He's probably priced where he should be, but there is still more usage to be had without Harrison Barnes, who is doubtful again today. And he only played 21 minutes because he got benched. All the starters got benched 3 minutes into the third quarter, and they never returned because they were down by 30-plus points at that point, I believe. Looking at some of the value picks, I like Desmond Bane a little bit. He's $6,000. He's just been playing pretty solid basketball all season. He was playing really well at the beginning of the year without Dillon Brooks, and now without Ja Morant, he's back to getting good minutes in close games. The price tag is probably where it should be, but I think he still looks appealing on a short slate here, like a 5-gamer. If you want to save some money, you can go down to DeAnthony Melton, who's only 51. He's a guy that comes off the bench because they start Tyus Jones, but I wouldn't mind playing DeAnthony Melton over Tyus Jones. Melton seems to have the higher ceiling, he's the better shooter. The better Tyus Jones might get more assists, but Melton could easily go for 20 real-life points. I don't really see Tyus Jones putting up 20 to 25 real-life points. He's going to have to do a little bit of everything to kind of get his fantasy points. So I'll go ahead and plug in DeAnthony Melton at 51. RJ Barrett is questionable. If he's out, that would open up... Well, Burks is already starting now at point guard, but that would probably open up maybe quickly a little bit more off the bench, or Rose if he is back. The value picks here, Simons. If there is no Norman Powell, you could go to Simons. Played 29 minutes. He's been pretty productive when he's given more minutes, and should be given more minutes if they don't have Powell today. Davion Mitchell is $3,900. If they don't have Harkless, they already probably won't have Harrison Barnes, who's doubtful. He looks like a good value play off the bench at only 39. Will probably play good minutes defending guys like Russell Westbrook tonight. At shooting guard, top end, you have Fred VanVleet at 87. The Toronto Raptors are shorthanded big time once again. They are not going to have OG Anunoby, who's already ruled out. And then Gary Trent is probably not going to play. He hasn't been practicing. And then the coach said on the last game they played that he and OG are going to be out for the foreseeable future. But Trent has the questionable tag tonight. I don't think he'll play, but it's the first game on the slate. So we'll get that news before lock. So that makes me like VanVleet and Siakam a lot. They're going to have to carry the load. Fred VanVleet played 40 minutes last game, and that's going to continue going forward. It is a plus matchup against the Grizzlies. Other plays that look appealing would be Buddy Hield at 66. He gets more minutes off the bench when guys like Harrison Barnes are out, and he's doubtful today. Very tough shooting night last time out. 29 minutes only. 5 of 17, 1 of 9 from distance. He's going up against the Lakers team now, which he probably wants to kind of show them what they're missing by getting Russell Westbrook instead of him. I'm expecting Buddy Hield to put on a show. I personally like his $6,600 price tag more than De'Aaron Fox's price tag. So give me Buddy HIELD at a 6K range where I like him more than like Jordan Poole, Wiggins, more than Halliburton, probably a little bit more than Baines. Alec Burks is 56. He's another guy that we can look to target. We know Tibbs, if he has a guy that he likes, and he definitely likes Alec Burks, he's going to play him 40 minutes. So even last game against the Hawks, Burks played almost the entire second half. He missed like 2 or 3 minutes in the second half. Otherwise, he played 39 minutes. Was super productive out there. Got red hot at the end of the third quarter. And he's 56 now with Barrett questionable and Kemba out of the rotation. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in Alec Burks at the guard spot. Other plays that look appealing would be if Trent does happen to suit up. He's 54. He would look like a good value, but I'm not convinced that will happen. If Trent is out, then you want to look to Svi Mykhailiuk, who will play heavy minutes starting in place of him. He's a guy that can produce just based on the price tag, and he's not afraid to shoot, as evidenced by last time where he shot 14 times and he shot 10 times in the first quarter. Terrence Davis looks like a good value as well. If there's no Harkless, he'll probably start once again today, given that situation. He went to the locker room briefly, and then it was just an anomaly of a game where they got blown out, and they went to the bench very, very early. But I don't mind going to Davis. Probably like Svi more than him, but probably the second best option in that range. And then Tony Snell did start, but he's not a fun player to roster, even if Powell is out once again today. At power forward, you have Julius Randle at a very nice tag. He's $9,400. He's been not as solid as usual because Tibbs hasn't been playing him 40 minutes. If Randle is struggling, Tibbs has no problem going to Obi Toppin off the bench, going to the bench unit more than him. So he's not as secure as he was in years past where Tibbs was to play him 40 minutes regardless. It is a good price tag and it is a good matchup, so I don't mind it. But I probably like Siakam, like the same amount, maybe a little bit more. He's 85. Siakam has had a couple of big games this year. Normally he's just been around like the 30 range. He was in some foul trouble against Boston, so couldn't be as aggressive. Finished with 5 fouls. Did play 38 minutes though. But normally Siakam still gives you that 50, 40, high 40s, 50-point upside. The matchup in this one against Memphis is a very solid one. The Grizzlies play at a fast pace. This would be the premier game stack. If you are looking to stack a game, it would be this Memphis-Toronto game, then it would be the Lakers game, then it would be the Knicks game, and then the Portland game, and then the Phoenix game. Just in my opinion. If one of these games happens to go into overtime or double overtime, then that's going to obviously be the one you want to target. But just on paper, this Toronto game looks to be very appealing. Siakam at that tag, I like him more than like Jeremy Grant. Scotty Barnes is 7K, he's playable, but I don't mind just going up to Siakam instead. And then the value picks, Covington got ejected. He's $3,900 though. Maybe looks appealing. Jay Crowder looks fine just based on the value at 39 if you need a cheap play. And then check Metu if he starts, you could go to him at 43. At center, we have Davis at 10-6. He looks great just given the matchup. If LeBron is out, then he looks even better. Looking for a value pick here, you have Nurkic at 64. It's a back-to-back, but they can give him more minutes. If they don't have Powell, probably easier chance that they go give Nurkic more minutes. Achua looks good as a value. Steven Adams looks decent as a value. Then you have LaMarcus Aldridge in a good spot against the Knicks. Just in terms of playing against a bigger front court, they haven't been getting anything out of Blake Griffin, so they went back to Aldridge as the starter, and he's been very solid this year. He's been one of the best shooters in the NBA for the mid-range, shooting, I believe, over 65% in the mid-range. Overall, shooting 58% from the floor, 38% from distance. Gets you buckets, gets you a possibility at a double-double. Not always a lock because James Harden likes to get rebounds. But at this price tag, given the matchup, if he goes for like 38, 39, even close to 40 fantasy points, you're going to be really happy at that price tag. So right now, this is what I got. Got a Grizzly in there and DeAnthony Melton. You can plug in more Grizzlies, but they're probably, a lot of these guys are priced where they should be. I like Brooks, but 7K, you're not getting a discount. You're not getting much of a discount on Jaren Jackson at 67. I would say Adams looks like a good value. Bane looks probably like the second best option. Anderson, you never know what you're getting out of him. He's not really been anything special this year. But overall, we'll see what news we get throughout the day, but this is kind of what I'm looking at. So let's take a look at the FanDuel picks. So on FanDuel, this slate is looking completely different on FanDuel. The pricing on some of these guys just make you have to really consider them very heavily. Like at point guard, I don't mind any of these top 3 just because they're cheap. But you have some like kind of priorities personally for me. The first guy would be Fox at only 76. You expect Fox to play heavy minutes in a close game, which probably this will be. The Lakers give up a lot of points. They play no defense. The Kings also play no defense. We saw the last time these two teams played, it went to 3 overtimes. Probably won't expect 3 overtimes, but even if it goes in the end of regulation, I'm expecting it to be a very high scoring game. So Fox looks super appealing at his tag. You can look to DeAnthony Melton at 55. You have Tyus Jones, looks probably better than Melton at 46 on FanDuel at least. Quickly, if there's no Rose, looks fine at his value. At shooting guard, you have Harden if you wanted to get up to him, but you have cheap price tags on Booker, on McCollum. You have a nice tag on Burks, not like a priority, but it's still a good price tag. You can play him at 2 positions. A couple of priorities would be Dillon Brooks at $5,800, way underpriced than his 7K tag on DraftKings. No Ja Morant, this guy loves to shoot, and he's going to get way more usage than he would. Melton looks fine, Bane looks fine, but they're definitely behind Dillon Brooks when he's basically the same price tag, just separated by a couple $100. Svi Mykhailiuk would be a decent value, but he's already 48, so he's not as much of a great play as he is on DraftKings. At small forward, you have Kevin Durant, if you wanted to pay up for him. But the first guy I would definitely plug in is Buddy Hield. Both him and Dillon Brooks are really good plays on FanDuel. Both the same price tag. Both are you can play them at dual positions of shooting guard or small forward. And they are way underpriced by like $1,000, I would say at least. If Barrett does play, you could maybe look to him. But I probably like Burks more than Barrett just by $400 more. They've been closing without Barrett a lot of these games. If Barrett's not playing well, Tibbs will not play him. And that's just something that we have to get used to because it was not like that last year. And I don't really see myself going to anybody else really. Like in the 4K range, if you want to take shots on like Nasir Little or Otto Porter, be my guest. But there are better plays in like the 5K and above range. At power forward, Julius Randle is going to be somebody you have to take a pretty hard look at. He's 85, so if you wanted to play him on one site at least, it would be FanDuel than DraftKings. Where on FanDuel you can play him at center or power forward. But the first guy would be Pascal Siakam for me. He's only $7,500. He's way underpriced. You have Jaren Jackson at a good tag. LaMarcus Aldridge you could plug in as well. And then I'm not looking at Covington. I'm not looking at Precious Achiuwa, Stewart. All these guys aren't that interesting for me. But Pascal would be a really good play at 75. And then at center, wanted to pay up for Davis, you can. I would say Randall would be the second best option behind Davis. If Holmes does suit up, he looks okay at 67. Aldridge, 61. He looks fine, probably better on DraftKings, but still playable. And then Adams is kind of priced up than he is on DraftKings. Same thing with Precious Achiuwa. So it's only like 3 guys I'm considering. It's Davis, Randall. I guess I can throw in Nurkic in there as well. I'm going to plug in Randall. I think 85 is a little bit different than 94, so probably a better shot for him to hit value. Hopefully he's playing well enough that he does close and play 35 to 40 minutes like we're used to. And that's about it for the video. So FanDuel, you're looking at this. The Kings look really good on FanDuel. The Grizzlies look pretty good. The Toronto Raptors look appealing as well. So it's going to be a pretty fun one. It's a 5 games, but there are some nice teams to target. And probably a couple of games can go really high scoring, especially some of these early games. So that's about it for the video. Thank you for watching. Best of luck tonight. Stay tuned for updates on Twitter, and I'll see you all next time.